Just love my Agape house band, love the musicians, love the singers, the actors, the directors, the writers. All of this is evolutionary creative collaboration, which is what life is all about. You may have thought, you may have been hypnotized into thinking that you arrived on earth to be a consumer. I mean, think about that for a moment. I'm a consumer. No, you didn't come to be a consumer. You came to be an outlet for the Spirit of God, to be a creative presence of the Spirit of the living God. You didn't come to the planet to consume. You didn't come to the planet to get. You didn't come to the planet to acquire. You came to this planet to make a vibrational difference with the essence of God uniquely expressing as you, because only you can be you. So you get to create a vibrational footprint on the planet. Now, sometimes we like to say we don't want to leave a footprint on the planet. That's not true. We don't want to leave a heavy carbon footprint on the planet. We don't want to leave a heavy depletion footprint on the planet. We don't want to leave a footprint on the planet that's eradicating the forest and the oceans and the rivers and the lakes and other species. I mean, humanity has killed so many species on the planet with pollution and deforestation. We don't want to leave that kind of footprint. But we do want to leave a vibrational footprint of love and beauty and compassion and generosity that allows for the next great epic of humanity and all species to flourish in a way that is beyond our wildest imaginings. So you may think you've arrived here just to get a house with a picket fence and a couple of kids and to live your life holed up, hoping that nothing bad happens to you. No, that would be considered a wasted incarnation in this particular expression of humanity. You came to make a mighty difference. There are gifts, talents, and capacities within you undreamed of by your present self. Capacities of power and love and healing and wholeness and generosity and creativity that you have to set free, that you have to live. And I'm telling you right here, right now, if you get evicted or decide to leave your body temple, what's going to haunt you are not ghosts. What's going to haunt you are the ghosts of the undeveloped potential within you. It's going to track you down and say in substance, I've been in you waiting to be set free. There was love in your heart. There was peace in your heart. There was generosity in your heart. There was wholeness. There was healing. And you didn't let it come out. You played life too safe and you died anyway. Listen, can you hear me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Because here, the whole theme of this month is your role. Your role is to shine, not to resign. Your role is to shine, not to resign. Your role is to take heart, to have a level of courage, because life is on your side. You got all of life got your back. You have all of life has your front, your top, your bottom, your middle. All of life got you. You see? So your role is to shine and to embrace all the metaphors and poetry and prose that speak of the light that is within you, but to go a step further, to have your practice of meditation, life visioning, affirmative prayer, affirmation, declaration, proclamation, study, high fellowship, so that you become aware that all of that inference about the light is not metaphorical, is not merely poetic. It is your life. You are the light that lights up every man and every woman that comes into the world. You are a luminous being. So we say, let the metaphors be with us, you see? But let them inspire us to spiritual practice so that we have an insight and have a personal revelation about the sacred truth written in all the books of faith that have heart. Have a personal revelation of that truth. So it's not merely a belief system, not merely a hypothesis, not merely a theory, not merely becoming a card-carrying member of a metaphysical community, but an actual practitioner whose essence has been enlivened by personal revelation. Because believe you me, you cannot ride into the realm of ever-expanding good holding the coattails of somebody else's personal revelation. Their revelation can inspire you. Their revelation can encourage you. But you're not riding to the higher levels of dimension holding the revelation of Jesus the Christ. You've got to do what Jesus did. You've got to do what Gautama the Buddha did. You've got to do what Zoroaster did. You got to have the same level of practice that Kuan Yin had. You see, you've got to get down like spiritual James Brown until you have a personal revelation, and then you'll have no authority outside of your own conviction of that which you have seen, because once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Once you know it, you can't unknow it, you see. And so your role is to shine, to radiate, to wake up every single day and say, in substance, I have everything that I need, even before there's physical evidence to that truth. Let me shine it. Let me radiate it. Let me reveal it. Then you become on the right side of the law, and the universal law matches that vibrational frequency through your vibration of radiation, and lo and behold, it condenses itself as opportunities, possibilities, open doors, miracles, divine providence. So many things begin to happen based on your desire to be a radiant expression of cosmic good, you see? And then you'll take heart. You'll have a level of courage because you are aware that though you are alone, you are aware that alone means all one. You're all one with God, and life is on your side because life is on its own side. Life never contradicts or compromises its own nature. It's always for itself. And you're the emanation of life, so life is for you, becoming you, so that life can be more of itself as you. Oh, you need to meditate on that, so that you release any sense of separation or distance from the presence of God, that inside you become aware that you're not reaching out to God, even though the innermost God and the uppermost God is the same God. You are reaching in to have a cosmic and realization of your oneness with the presence and the love of the great power, the great presence of love of God. And then, with the awareness that life is on your side, you will become aware that life is progressive because it's infinite. There's always more of it to be revealed. It is progressive. Sometimes we would say life is friendly, but sometimes that personalizes it and anthropomorphizes it. So progressive works. If you want friendly, it's cool. Life is friendly. Albert Einstein used that. He would say, in substance, the main question you can ask, is the universe friendly? Yes, it is. It's progressive. It's for you. So now imagine you're walking in life. Yes, you've had some bumps and bruises in life. Yes, there's been some disappointments. Yes, there's been some things happening. And it has formed and coagulated beliefs and thought forms, scar tissue that makes you believe that life is not on your side, that there's something against you, that you're cursed, something's working against you. But you begin to proclaim, life is on my side. Life is on my side. God is on my side. Life is progressive. And you begin to develop such a subjective groove around that vibrational intentionality that it begins to slowly and sometimes quickly heal the patterns of doubt and worry and fear until one day you wake up and you actually believe what you've been saying about yourself. That statement becomes a belief, then becomes a feeling tone, becomes a perception, becomes an opening, and then you begin to walk every single day. Oh my God, life is on my side. I am so available to be surprised about what the presence of God is up to next in my life because I'm an infinite, expressive being of the Most High. As you begin to stand in that awareness, you see, life is on my side. Life is progressive. Everything is working together for my good through spiritual practice and through my own personal revelation. I set myself free and set my potential free, that I'm not haunted by all the gifts that I've left unopened in my own soul. I'm celebrating on a regular basis about the new gift being unwrapped and expressed, that I'm leaving a vibrational imprint on the planet. Such love and generosity and such peace and such creativity that people feel that I'm a blessing whether I'm coming or going. You see, some people are a blessing when they leave. You don't want to be one of those people. You want to be a blessing coming, and then your wake creates a blessing as you're leaving. Woo! Follow that. You know what I mean? That your sweet aroma and incense of your being is a blessing everywhere that you go. Oh my God. And then you establish yourself in the awareness that intention creates a groove, you see. Intentional groove or something lose. Losing move. Yeah, I have to keep being reminded of this. And I know why I'm forgetting it. Intentional groove or losing move. That's the topic. The reason why I'm having an interesting vibration around losing, because I'm aware on a quantum level, there's really no loss in this field of abundance. There's really no loss. There's sometimes an imbalance that takes place. Sometimes what appears to be loss is really a redemptive move of a slingshot vibrational frequency that shoots you forward really fast. That what appears to be loss is just a way by which you galvanize yourself, go into deep levels of forgiveness, and deep levels of peace, deep levels of coherence around the fundamental harmony of the universe, and that which appears to be loss shoots you fast into a greater expression of your ultimate reality. So intentional groove or losing move really means living life by design or by default. When you have an intention, then that you're involved in a creative design for your life. You have an intention around compassion. You have an intention around peace. You have an intention around love. You have an intention around generosity. You have an intention around creativity and compassion, that you want to grow in those areas. That's your intention, you see. And then that becomes a part of the rich design, working with the laws of the universe for your life. Now, without intentionality, there's default. In other words, if you don't have any intention, your life is lived by default. You end up experiencing the collective belief of humanity, good or bad. It's called race consciousness, human race consciousness. Life by default means that you're living a life based on trends. Whatever is trending in the society at that particular moment, you become kind of a puppet to the trend. You see, you notice that when people are looking at the weapon of mass distraction, which is the old paradigm's version of reality, which is called the news media. You just notice that people will watch it all the time. They become kind of like in a hypnotic spell about what's on television, you see. So instead of telling a vision, they get caught in television. We want you to begin to tell a vision of possibility and not get caught in television land where you're being pulled by the trends of this particular moment, you see. And so with that awareness and that feeling tone, you begin to understand that you are not to live a life by default. Sometimes your default life is the places within you that are unhealed and unexamined, that just triggered and just pop up, you see, and you end up living a life by default. Now, all of it works together for good, you see. Eventually, enough pain pushes you to grow, or somewhere in there you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you ultimately be pulled by a vision. That's why there's really no loss in this game. There's only how long it takes you to wake up and participate in the game of life, which is about you realizing that your life is the life of God, and that there's a divine intentionality in your own soul about the presence of God knowing itself as your very life and being. So you want to have an intentional life. This is one of the reasons why we use Kim Terranova's book last month in terms of the vibration of intention that she wrote about, so that you as a community and you as an individual are not living your life by default, but you're living your life by a holy and divine design. Are you picking up what I'm putting down right here? I want you to feel this. Now, there's different levels of intentionality. There's the intention when you wake up in the morning that you want to get through your day with the highest level of excellence possible. You want the tasks that are being called for you to participate in to be done in a very high level. Walter Russell brings us a sacred truth about that. He says in substance that you can pray to fall in love with what you have to do. Because some things we don't like to do certain things. And we want to do the things that we think we love, but we don't want to do the other stuff, you see? And so he talks about the fact that you can actually pray to fall in love with what you have to do. And then the transcendence takes place and you realize everything you do, you're doing for God anyway. Whether you're watering the lawn, whether you're washing dishes, whether you're making that phone call that you don't want to make, or whatever the case may be, it's all about the presence of God, and you end up falling in love with God doing what you're called to do. And so there's the task that must be completed in any given day. You want to have an intention to operate from a high level of excellence around that until you transcend the task itself and you're actually having an encounter with the presence, doing what you were called to do. And so there are 3 levels of that. There's task-oriented people, there's goal-oriented people, and there's purposeful-oriented people. Now, I just described task, and then there's goal-oriented people. We all want to have our short-term and our long-term goals for our life. We want to have our short-term and long-term goals as a community builder as to what we want to accomplish in the world to build a kind and just global society. And the goal-oriented person, the subset of that is task. So you have task and you have goals. And there are many people who have goals, but they don't have any purpose. We see that in a greedy corporatocracy. We see individuals that use the laws of manifestation, but are not connected on a soul level. So they acquire a bunch of stuff in the world, but they're not attached to a higher purpose. And then they have what is called a soul sickness. You see, Solomon talked about that when he looked around and he said, vanity, vanity, all is vanity, striving after the wind. He had accomplished so much, but hadn't gotten in touch with his soul, you see. So there are so many people on the planet that have so many goals to get, and then they get there, and they say, well, why am I happy? Why do I? That's called soul sickness, you see. Goals with no purpose. And then I remember this many years ago. Mark Victor Hansen came to me. He said, Michael, as a minister, I want to run some things to you. He says, I'm coming up with this millionaire program to produce X amount of millionaires. And I read it. It was very powerful. He really had it worked out in terms of the right use of the law. And I said, only one thing, Mark. Millionaires for what purpose? And he began to cogitate and think about, if you're going to be a millionaire, it should be attached to something. You don't want to be just a millionaire. You see, that day is past. If you want to be a millionaire, why? You see, what are you going to do? What are you going to build? What are you going to accomplish? How are you going to help the world with this particular money? You see? And so there has to be a higher purpose. And that's 2 levels of purpose. One is the meta level, to reveal you are to be a representation of the face of divinity. You are to represent God. That is your purpose. Everyone has the same purpose. We all have different missions and different goals. The same purpose, to reveal the face of God. And then because you're an earthling, you have a stewardship vibration. You have a stewardship around the earth. How are you going to take care of the planet? How are you going to help the planet redeem itself? How are you going to help the planet recover from the loss of deforestation? The healing of our rivers and our lakes and the soil that's been depleted so that many people are eating food that has so little vitamin content because the soil has been so depleted. So perhaps that becomes a part of your purpose and your goal, that you may be on the front lines of activism around that, around the climate, around the planet, you see. And so as an earthling, you are inviting yourself, how am I to help build, be an ambassador and an architect for a kind and just global society, you see? So you have your task within that, you have your goals within that, and you have a higher purpose. 1, I'm revealing the face of God, and 2, I'm an earthling. What is my vibrational imprint that I'm going to leave on planet Earth? Now, with that being said, here's an example. Someone might be tasked with, I got to get this petition filled so that I can begin to change the policy around policing. I want to deconstruct systemic racism in the legal system. There needs to be some policy changes. A narrative needs to be changed. You have a task around that. Your goal is to get so many signatures to raise the consciousness around this particular issue so that there can be some systemic change in those particular areas of your life. You may be on the front line of being an activist, protesting with your passion about what needs to be revealed around injustice, and that is your task. And then you have a goal of doing this on a regular basis, reaching so many people, so that it becomes a groundswell, as we're seeing today around the world. People are rising up and saying no more to systemic racism, no more to injustice where people of color and poor people are concerned, no more, you see. And then the purpose must be to carry the energy of the kind and just global society that we're trying to build, you see, and to represent the face of divinity. Now, you can call divinity anything you want. You can call it life. You can call it love, intelligence. You can call it beauty. Doesn't mean you have to call it God. If God offends you because you conjure up some man in the sky, then don't use the word. Let that word go. Call it life itself. Life always wins. Love always wins. Peace always wins. Justice always wins. Beauty always wins. Compassion always wins. The higher frequency always wins. So you want to have a higher meta purpose that embraces your goals and embraces your particular task, because if not, you will get burnt out if you just have tasks and goals alone with no higher purpose. And there's nothing more frustrated than a frustrated metaphysician. There's nothing more frustrated than an angry activist. A pissed off individual is trying to change the world. No, we have to be so strong. I don't know why I did that. Emphasis, that's an exclamation point. You see, we have to be so strong that we're carrying the frequency, the seed frequency of the world we want to live in. We can't just talk about it. We can't just be angry about it. Even though righteous indignation is a high state of consciousness. We're not throwing away righteous indignation. No. But we don't want to burn ourselves out without the higher purpose, you see. Now, this is what begins to happen. As you begin to envision, catch the divine ideal, have a perfect connection with that transcended idea and making it imminent. Remember when Dr. King said, I have a dream. The actual talk wasn't, I have a dream. The actual talk was, America has refused to cash a check. The check has come back, insufficient funds. It was a whole nother talk, but it ended with, I have a dream. People remember it as the I have a dream speech, but he was actually talking about, we have come to cash a check, and it's been marked insufficient funds around justice and equality, you see. But the moment that he had that transcendent moment about, I have a dream today, at that moment, something went through the psyche of the world about the possibility of every man and woman, boy and girl, whatever your religious persuasion, whatever color of your skin, whatever sexual orientation. And I can say that unequivocally because Coretta Scott King said that if he was alive, he would have taken on homophobia as well, you see. And that was a moment of capturing the zeitgeist of the next stage of human unfolding. We want to begin to walk with that vibration and frequency. Now, when that begins to happen, this is what it means. It means you're walking in the world. The old paradigm is there. But you're walking in the world as a vibrational frequency. Sometimes you'll just walk like this. Because you know you're carrying the whole universe behind you. Love is on your side. God is on your side. Life is on your side. You know you're going to win. You see? It may or may not be in your lifetime, but things will change because of you. You see? You will walk in the new world, even though only the old world is visible. That's faith and conviction. That's metaphysics and mysticism. Walking in the new world even before you can see it. Anything that's come into manifestation, someone had to see it first when it was invisible and then bring it into manifestation. And so the kind and just global society has to be seen, articulated, personal revelation about it, and then walk in it while you're protesting. Walk in it while you're getting your petition signed. Walk in it while you are articulating the injustices of the past and the need for a new narrative about the history of America. You see, now, here's the deal. When, in fact, through spiritual practice, you're able to carry the frequency of the new world and you're walking in it, you will begin to see very clearly the old world. Now, the old world is based on lack. non-renewable resources. And so in the old world, wealth acclamation and accumulation is really wealth depletion. You look at slavery in America, the acclamation, the accumulation of wealth in America was done with wealth depletion from a group of people that were given nothing and then set free with no resources, no land, no 40 acres, no mule, no nothing, in order to survive in this country in which the narrative about these individuals where they're less than human, they're lazy. How can you be lazy when you built the whole nation? You're lazy, you're uncreative. I mean, you know how much stuff African Americans have created, but the narrative, and so what looked like a wealth building was actually a wealth depletion in the cosmic vibe, in the quantum field. So there was an imbalance that was created that the universe is now balancing out. The karma of America will be rectified, you see. With that balancing happening, it's happening even now. You see, I don't have to go back that long, even though it wasn't that long. You have corporatocracy sitting on billions of dollars, you see. And individuals who are making billions of dollars while their workers are making hardly anything. That's wage slavery, which means that what looks like someone becoming wealthy is actually creating a depletion and an imbalance in the universe, you see. It will be rectified. You understand? We're talking law here. Now, in the new world, the world that you're representing, wealth building doesn't create wealth depletion. Everybody wins. Everybody is paid properly for their innovativeness, their creativity, their time, and their effort, while billions are still made. You see? There's no loss. There's only circulation. When we have renewable resources taking over, then lack is taken out of the equation. Our consciousness rises, and we will discover, as every great optimist knows, that although there are problems, there's a solution to every problem, and it comes outside of the paradigm we're now living in. The issue has been you have business people, you have economists living in the old paradigm trying to solve the issue. It can't be done, because they're the ones creating the problem, you see? You have to go outside of that paradigm and touch the realm of the divine where all the ideas come from and allow it to escape into the world. And so here we are. Intention. I don't want you to be an intentional deficit being. No. We don't want to suffer from intention deficiency. You see? No. We want to have such an intention, catch this, that it becomes a subjective groove within us. So that even when we're not thinking, the intention is pulling us. Even when we're daydreaming, we're pulled by intention. And then we understand what divine providence is, and we understand what the miraculous is. Divine providence is when the presence of God moves through time through us and brings such new innovation, healings, revelations. It's providence. It can't be stopped. And that is when God moves through time. Miracle is when the presence of God stops time. When there's suddenly you have an insight, time is stopped. Miracle happens. We've seen this with immediate healings at times and great changes of character at times. When time stopped and suddenly, the healing showed up in someone's body or emotional body or mental body. You see, you will be a candidate for providence or for the miraculous with practice. So catch the whole dynamic here. Catch the arc of the whole thing. That your role is to shine, not resign and hold yourself up and be afraid of conditions. Your role is to radiate. Your role is to shine. Your role is to let your light so shine before men and women that when they see you, they see the presence of God that sent you, so that you walk through your day as a radiant expression of infinite potential. And though you have used the power up to this moment, and many times sometimes to help you withstand the blows of life and to develop your coping mechanisms and your defense mechanisms so you're not hurt anymore. At a certain point, you begin to shine, and your radiance itself makes you impervious to so much, you see. And then you become aware that life is for you and not against you. And then with intention becomes your groove. You become a groovy, intentional being. You're grooving with intention. Then you suffer no loss. You don't live from default. And you begin to come into the frequency of a different world. You begin to ask, what is your purpose? To reflect and reveal the cosmos in a way that has never happened. I'm an earthling. I have to make a vibrational imprint on the planet, more than greed, more than getting, more than hoarding. I am here to make a vibrational imprint. I have goals within that. I have tasks within that. And then we establish strong intentionality around the great possibilities that lie within us. I just want you to know how great you are. I want you to know how beautiful you are. I want you to know how strong you are. I want you to know how magnificent you are. These aren't just fancy, beautiful words. I have seen the light, you see. You are a luminous being for real, not just poetry. You are a beautiful, luminous, magnificent fountain of luminosity. Full awareness, full of light. And now what you are doing is coming into a preparation to carry more of the luminosity of the cosmos. You are being prepared. Woo! I just heard preparation for reparation. I'm going to have to examine what God is trying to tell me on that one right there. Okay, let's look at the clock here. But I heard the present say preparation for reparation. You see, that must have something to do with redemption. Because whenever you're pulled down in a way that is unjust, when redemption takes over, all those thoughts and energy that appears to be lost are redeemed, and you're catapulted to a higher expression of life. I want you to know this. I want you to feel it in your bones. And then what happens? Let me tell you. This is the power of intention and the power of practice. You have to practice being in joy. You have to practice your happiness muscles. You have to practice your compassion, kindness, and generosity muscles. You can't just wait for an external condition. People say, when I hit the lottery, then I'm going to be very generous. No, you're not. If you're not prepared to do it now when you have little, it's going to be very difficult for you to do it when you get a lot of money. I never wrote a check that big. Ooh. It's like the story of the guy that goes to his spiritual teacher and says, would you bless my business? I want my business to be so successful that I can help change my neighborhood. I can help change this. I can change that. I'm going to tithe and everything. And the pastor, minister, spiritual teacher blessed him. And he started making more money and he was tithing. And then the numbers got really big. And he went to the pastor and said, listen, I'm making so much money. I got to write these really large checks. I got to write checks for 100,000, 300,000, 500,000. I don't know what I can do. And the minister said, okay. Please shrink this man's business back to his comfort zone. Listen, if you're not prepared, if you're not giving now, you ain't going to give when you get a lot of money. So don't even fool yourself. Prepare yourself now through developing the practices of generosity, compassion, forgiveness, loving in a very powerful way. Now, that just came through. That's just the way it is. I'm a channel for really good stuff. Now, where was I? Life is for you, not against you. Intention, embracing task, embracing goal, embracing purpose. And as I said, you have to prepare yourself. So you have to practice your joy muscles, your happiness muscles, your peace-giving muscles, your peacekeeping muscles, your love muscles, your generosity muscles, even when there's no physical evidence for any of those things to occur. So then as you're in preparation, you're able to hold more of the cosmic energy. So as more of the energy comes through you, it already has a circuit. Oh, yes, it does. It already has a circuit to flow through through, you've developed a circuit for its expression. You see? Oh my God, I'm seeing so much here because so many people are hit with the light and they can't hold it. So many people are hit with good ideas but they can't hold it because there's no circuitry built there. You see? There's no circuit. They've been living life by default. Not you, not here, not now. You're waking up. So then you begin to practice. This is why we dance, you see. We dance. Not frivolity. It's not frivolous. It's not, ooh, they're dancing at Agape. You know what's funny about that? I'm not going to call the names, but I saw on the internet some really big-time pastors starting to dance in their community, starting to dance at their rallies. They ain't never danced before, and suddenly they're saying, put on the music. What you been looking at, guy? Now, I ain't mad at it because I want all of us to be in that frequency, in that vibration. And so if we've inspired you to dance, do it. Now, so it's not frivolous. It's really activating the muscle of joy, activating the muscle of harmony and love, you see, and allowing the oxytocin as we fall in love with the presence to flow through the body temple. Allow the cascade of tonic chemicals to move through the body temple as we begin to richly imagine no more food deserts in communities of black and brown people, you see, where they can't even get any good food, and therefore their immune system is compromised, and any flu that comes along and COVID-19 begins to deplete them because they don't have the proper nutrition, the proper vitamins, the proper supplements. Please, now we've talked about this before, but if you caught up in the weapon of mass distraction called the news, you'll think the only conversation is about whether you mask or not, or to wash your hands or not. That's just one part of the conversation. That's just that part of the conversation. What about nutrition? What about supplementation? What about exercise? What about prayer? What about meditation? Every study on prayer has shown the efficacy of prayer. Efficacy, if you don't know what that means, look it up. No, it shows the usefulness of the prayer, how it really works, you see. One of the research projects, I'm going to stop. I just got this information that has to flow out. Shows that the least that prayer works is 29%. That's the least. Pharmaceuticals only have to work on 3% of the population before it's released on you. Prayer works 29% minimum. Pharmaceuticals only have to prove that they're useful on 3% before the FDA sets them free. Come on, people, wake up. Pill or prayer? Your choice. I'm not saying don't take the pill, but you better pray that for the side effects of the pill. Okay, I better stop. Stop, please, let me stop. Can I stop? Listen, back to dancing. Let's start. We're going to start dancing with the Rev. Wait a minute, hold on. Let me give you an example. We have a community, an Agape community in Durango. As the band begins to come on up, we have a community in Durango. There they are right there. And they get together on Sunday. This is a couple of them.
We're just getting started.
They're doing the appropriate social distancing. They got their mask on.
We just getting started.
We just getting started up in here. Okay, next time we'll get a little bit longer. But you see, that's our Durango community, Agape Durango. And they're dancing as a group. So we want to begin, not frivolity, but a total awareness that as we come into preparation for our joy, preparation for our peace, we become so strong in it that when seeming adversity takes place, we're still able to hold the frequency of joy. I'm not saying it's an easy thing. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying nothing is easy. If you want to be an Olympic athlete, it ain't easy. But we want Olympic athletes of prayer, of meditation, of generosity, of wholeness, of forgiveness. We want to have that kind of daring do. Daring do? I never said that before. But I guess it's okay. Let's come on. Shut up, Michael. Let's dance. Start the music.